You were the only guy that had us in 2016, and you were right. Good evening. Proud of our guys for responding after two very tough games. At Marquette, home against Villanova, we just got outclassed. We had to go back. We actually went back to watch our game at Xavier. And, there were some things that were creeping up in our team that game that we should have taken care of after a victory that we didn't. And I thought our guys were much more together, assertive, tough, really locked in against a team, Georgetown's offense, which is potent. They have Cook's the only guy on the team that can't make a three. They have great shooters. They scored a ton of points in this building and on the road. So we really had to make this a defensive game. Felt like our guys did. And, any road victory in this league is a good one.
Kim, when you kind of look at some of the shots in the first half, the outside, I think you guys took 16 threes or what I think is 4-16. I know you like to take a lot of threes, but did you feel like some of those were not threes that you wanted to take?
Yeah, I thought we took a couple of bad ones. Took one off a ball screen. Garway took one we didn't love. It was late in the half. We had a lead. We wanted to kind of get out of that half. Jaden had some foul trouble. Devin took one. He tried to draw a foul. That was a big focus at halftime, was us taking smarter shots. And we went from 40% to 60% in the second half. Our shot quality got a lot better in the second half. We finished up 94% of our shots at the rim of three. That's great. 1.06 points per possession. So.
And Epps had a decent start, and then you guys bottled him up. I think he had 11 early, and then what was it, about 6 or 7?
Yeah, they made they were 2 for 3 from 3 early. That one we gave up late. They should have finished the game with 3 made threes, and that was the focus. Our transition defense, three-point defense, Epps defense, defensive rebounding. We didn't even talk offense because these teams, we ain't got 90 in us. We ain't got 90 in us. So in regulation, so we had to absolutely guard these guys.
Kim, you mentioned transition defense. You guys get 10 fast break points in the second half. How much of an emphasis was that to kind of get out there and run?
Yeah, if you a team that's great going into offensive glass, if you run hard, you can get some stuff in transition. I thought our guys did, and it was good. It was good for us.
And when you hear fans behind you chanting, let's go Providence, all that, like a home game.
Let's go Friars.
Friars.
Providence, too many syllables.
How does that feel to
No, our fans are incredible. Our fans are incredible. Everywhere we've been this season, especially at home, they're electric. I don't got – we have no complaints with our fans in Friartown. They're as good as any I've been around, road or home. They are electric.
How important was it for you to kind of throttle down on Styles? In the first half, he got off a little bit. Then you put Ticket on him, and Ticket wasn't leaving him, and you clearly wanted to target him.
Yeah, he was good. We started the game. We didn't mix any two bones about it. We put Devin and we put Ticket on Styles, and Epps, our two best defenders, weren't going to mess around. Now, Styles he's a really good shot maker. He makes some shots. He makes some contested twos. We have no choice but to live with those. Ticket got some charges. Styles is a really good player. And not only that, got to give him a ton of credit because he also goes to the offensive glass relentlessly. I think he's a really good – this Georgetown team has a ton of talent. I said this last time. When I look at Masood, played in the Elite Eight, Styles from North Carolina, Brumbaugh, Texas, Jaden Epps, Illinois, like they have – Fielder had a really good game for a young guy. Every time we play them, we give them our best shot. You think of the game, TCU, they should have won. The game at Xavier right there, the home game against Seton Hall. They had games that are – and we talk about it on our side. We know the one-possession game, the games we lost, the margin. The one-possession games we win, the margin. I don't know what they've had some bad ones mixed in there, but we have a ton of respect for this team. And obviously with Ed is who he is as a coach.
When you were a 16-year-old cat playing for Duty Lewis, Cecil Kirk, could you have ever imagined that you'd be a Big East head coach?
I don't know. I've always known I was going to coach. I just thought it would be after a long career in the NBA. It was a long one-year career in the NBA. So, but I always knew I wanted to coach. So I listened to Duty. I listened to Frank Haith, Mike Anderson, Rick Barnes, Tad Boyle, Nestor Che Garcia, Luka Pavicevic. I've listened intently to every coach I've ever had, and I'm trying to get better every day as a coach. I have a long way to go.
Kim, you mentioned
Bobby?
Hey, you mentioned Patrick being the bracketologist that you like to follow the most, and this is the time of the year where everyone.
I actually don't follow any. I just this has been since 2016. I thought we were in. No one else thought we were in, and I find this lacrosse guy from Baltimore, whose bracket had us in, and I was like, okay. And then I end up at George Mason, and he's covering us. So.
But this is the time of year, fans and like mainstream media start really paying attention to that. But being in the Big East, you guys basically been fighting for your tournament lives since the league started, right? What's that? What's this Big East, your first Big East season, been like?
Well, I look at it as 2 seasons. We were in first place in the Big East, 2-0, and then we lose Bryce Hopkins, and it was a complete different fight, a revamping of everything. Roles. We lost 3.5 games without him, and then we had to start our climb back, and our guys have battled at Seton Hall, Creighton, St. John's, at Xavier. Our guys have battled and gotten some really good victories, and we have a Connecticut, Tennessee, Purdue, Houston are the best teams in the country. And we have who I think is the best team in the country on both sides of the ball, backboards, culture, on Saturday in our building at 8 p.m.
And then you guys had, the Friars had a great turnout, but it seemed particularly maybe you also had a great turnout on the way out. I saw you talking to some people. What was it like coaching in D.C.?
Yeah, I'm locked into the game. I lived here the last few years, in Arlington when I was at George Mason. My family's from Baltimore. I have a lot of friends in this area. Providence is home. Rhode Island is home. And I was focused on the court. I thought our fans were incredible. It's going to be good to see my family tonight. Briefly, then we got to leave.
Yeah, Coach, so like you mentioned, you have UConn on Saturday, and then you've got the Big East tournament next week. What are you focusing on heading into the stretch run as you try to get in the
Our health.
NCAA?
Our health was kind of vigilant of guys, nicks and bruises at the end of that game. Wanted to get them out, but you have to weigh the opportunity cost. We needed to win tonight. But we also need to play well on Saturday, and we need to play well in New York. But the focus is on scrubbing this game, getting healthy, getting recovered, and preparing to play Connecticut, a team I just have immense respect for.
Kim, the way things were going late in the first half, the way you guys were shooting, how much of a shot in the arm was that for that 3 going into the locker room?
Yeah, they cut it to 1, that 3, put it back to 4. Sounds right. Yeah, it's good. It's always good when you see the ball go through the net. It was a great play. Devin drove the ball. He had 2 on him. He drive to score. And, my AAU coach Duty said when you drive to score, if someone steps up, give it up. If no one steps up, lay it up. And that riddle or rhyme held true on that play.
Devin had 20 of his 24 in the second half. What do you guys feel he was able to take advantage of after intermission?
Yeah, he was good. When he got free, they really tried to disallow catches, but when he got free, he had enough space. He's a 40% shooter. He made his threes. He made some big ones. 3 for 9 of them. Felt like more, but he's a baller. He's a player. Every team guards him differently. He finds time. He finds his way to adjust and attack. Yeah,
hey, Kim, welcome back. Alex Sloan with DC News Now. Your friend Jake Rom says hi, by the way. You touched on it a little bit, but for you and the other guys that came over from George Mason with you, how special was it for them to come back in the DMV and get this win tonight?
Yeah, we had some Mason fans here. Brian Dunbar, we had some great Kathy McKay, some great Mason fans in the building. Always going to love George Mason University. Greg Washington, Brad Edwards, that gave me my first opportunity as a head coach. Proud, happy for Josh to get to see his family, his mom, Chris, his dad, Kofi. Justin Fernandez from Richmond, so get to go hug some of those mamas right now.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. He's good. I will. Good seeing you. All right, Ron. Good seeing you, man.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
See you, Kim.
Be careful. I'll take those.
Always. I think so. You got that kind of personality. He's comfortable in different situations. He knows how to handle media. Equally as well. Connect with people. That's what I know. No, that too. As a dude, he was, Rudy Gay was, well, he was a little active. But Rudy Gay was clearly a pro prostitute.
But they play Saturday. They play Saturday.
Stetson won. Stetson did. Who's Stetson?
NBA?
I guess. Yeah. Alabama's not bad.
Hey, Boo.
The real surprise, Detroit is up on Milwaukee.
Yeah, I saw that.
Guard screens well enough to play NBA basketball.
I've seen a 1 in 31 team. It's not pretty.
Yeah, 100%. Like 29 years. You know? You know what I mean? Like Brian Murray over there, all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so I want to make sure I give due credit to our fans this year. This is our last game here of the year. We did not have the home record we had wanted to, but what I do appreciate is how the fans showed up, supported our guys through a really, really difficult season, a very, very difficult season. But our guys fought today. I thought our defensive plan was a little bit better than last game. A little disappointed in our attention to detail. Providence has a special player, right, and he can impact the game on both ends of the floor. I would say he will get my vote for Player of the Year. I think he has damn near single-handedly carried them to a tournament bid, right? I definitely think they're a tournament team. Our attention to detail once again came back and bit us in the tail. But I'm proud of our guys. Thought we played hard. This is the end of the year, and I thought both teams were pretty tired. Both teams looked a little fatigued. But again, I thought they had the best player on the floor, and that showed up. So, you know, we'll take tomorrow off. We'll look forward to battling and going to New York. It'll prepare us for the Big East tournament, right? We're going to play another desperate team, right? A desperate team in St. John's, who I also think is a tournament team. And I'm going to continue to encourage our guys. But I want to make sure that I thank everybody here at Capital One who made this a great experience for our young men. And, you know, hopefully next year when we play at home, we continue to grow. You know, having a 1-9 Big East record at home, you know, just isn't acceptable. But it is what it is, and we'll move forward.
Ed, you mentioned the fans here. Is it motivation for you guys when you hear Providence fans saying, "Let's go Friars"?
I mean, that's probably the fourth school that did that. That's okay. It's okay. I'm glad they came to the game. I'm glad they came to the game. But again, this is the fourth program I've been part of, reestablishing and building it. Right? It doesn't happen overnight. A lot of frustration on supporters, fans, students. That's okay. That's part of the deal. We played a damn good team, a very physical team, and they had a player who could single-handedly win games sometimes on his own. So give him credit on that. So it's okay. I mean, eventually that'll change. Right now it's just not that time.
Providence got 10 of their dozen transition points in the second half. What's your transition defense? Your thoughts on that in the second half?
Some of transition defense is shot selection, right? I thought one of the biggest plays of the game, and I think it's a microcosm of the season we've had, is at the end of the half we had 2 fouls to give. We come out of a timeout. We're trying to foul. We're screaming it. Didn't execute that. So, you talk about attention to detail and execution. You can just ball that up, and that was Georgetown basketball this year here at Capital One. Bottom line, right? So, our kids will get better as we move forward, but that to me, attention to detail is so important when you're trying to win.
Ed, with the attention to detail and whatnot in the second half, did you feel like, for the most part, not just in the second half, but for the full game, that they were getting the shots and taking the shots that you wanted them to take?
This was a very winnable game. Like, as winnable if it's a Big East game we had all year. If there ever was a time for us to get a win, today was it. And we had probably 8 open looks, 4 out of 5 possessions. Normally we're a pretty good 10-toe three-point shooting team. You go 4 for 20. If you make 2 of them in that stretch, I think it was just about 6 or 7 minutes, probably a single-digit game, back to back to back to back. Not one of them went in, but that's where you got to hang your hat on culture of toughness on the defensive end. That's where you hang your hat on. But the ball's not always going to go in. But if you are resilient defensively, right? You're going to give yourself a chance to win in under 2 or 3 minutes.
Drew's work today, did that look like progress to you, what he was able to do for you?
This was the best he's played all year. This was clearly the best he's played all year, and he's practiced that way. This is as healthy as he's been all year with his knees. I was really, really proud of him. Today, Drew Fielder earned his keep. At Georgetown. He earned his scholarship today.
What have you seen from Rowan the last second half of the season, particularly the last 6 games? I mean, is he starting to figure it out as a freshman?
He's not a freshman. He's a sophomore. He's been in college before, right? He hasn't played, but he's a sophomore, learning, growing, developing. I need him to be more of a vocal leader. I think he has good energy offensively. He's gotten a lot better. Defensively, we still got a long way to go, but, he's playing with confidence. He knows he's going to play. He's been put in a role to develop. It took him some time to get that. I think it all starts with trust, right? And, right, again, he's in a really good rhythm offensively right now. We got to get everybody in a rhythm defensively. But he's grown up a lot.
When Epps is targeted like he was, particularly in the second half, what do you tell him and what do you tell the guys to help him? Because they were throwing length, size. They clearly want to take him out the game.
I mean, clearly, Devin was on him for the whole time he was in the game, right? When he came out the game. I think Devin's probably the best defensive player in the Big East. Jaden's one of the better offensive players. And what you tell your guys is you got to work harder to get open off the ball, right? So we're trying to get open on the wing. You can't start above the free throw line. If you want to get open, you want to stay deep to come up, L-cut to get open. But give them credit. I mean, they're a physical defensive team. They're very good defensively, like really, really good defensive team. Their physicality off the ball is just as impressive as it is on the ball.
Let's go to Dave Preston and then over to Andrew Fair.
Devin Carter had 20 of his 24 in the second half. What was the approach defensively? What worked for you guys early, and what's the biggest challenge trying to contain a guy of his skill set?
Well, physicality, right? I think he got loose on a couple of layups, physically driving the ball down the lane. He got loose for a couple of threes where we lost him. But, I mean, he got confidence in transition getting to the basket. His physicality at the rim bothered us on his drives, on his physical drives. We don't have that guy yet, right? We don't have that physicality yet, right? Keep the concentration on yet.
Coach, you mentioned some of the missed shots. Was that a case tonight of shots just not falling, or was it a case of poor shot selection that you've got to work on?
No, I mean, I thought, especially in the second half, I mean, they were uncontested shots. I mean, they were wide open, right? You can't put it in a basket for them. You can design it. You can talk about it. We've made them all year. We've made those shots all year, in particular the last game we played. You're playing at home. You got to be comfortable here. I mean, they just didn't fall today. You know, you give Providence a lot of credit. I thought their defense was good in that spirit when it was man-on-man, but in the freelance, we were able to drive and kick. The ball travels faster than our feet, and I just thought we missed wide-open shots. You know, you make one or two of those, you put a little bit of pressure on them.
And on the home record this year, how do you fix that going forward? What does that look like? And is it something you can do in this specific arena?
We're going to win in this arena, right? We're going to. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. The answer to that is say thank you to the seniors that are leaving and recruit. Right? It's not going to happen overnight. There's no magical wand, right? Bottom line is you need some more players. You need some more help. That's why we have an incredible staff. That's why we do a great job evaluating. You don't recruit, you evaluate. Who can fit at Georgetown and who can play for me as the leader. That's what we'll do a great job identifying as this season wraps up. But that's how you get better. You recruit your way out, you evaluate your way out, and you instill the culture of toughness, togetherness, gratitude, and appreciation.
Ed, there was a lot, made of your return to Providence, but now you get Providence here. How different were these games for you this year, or were they different?
I mean, once the game starts, obviously, this is the first year I'm going through it, right? I love Providence. I really appreciate Providence College and the opportunity they gave me. Without that opportunity, I'm not the head coach here. So, I mean, it's an emotional attachment that will, just like anything else, time away will help. This was a lot easier than the first game, right? But again, it's part of what we do. It's part of what we do. I'm glad as the former coach at Providence, I'm going to take a little breath and say, you know what? We did the right thing. We left them in a better place than I inherited. So that's what I'm really, really appreciative of, to see how well they're still doing, right? There's a lot of times when you leave programs, they go backwards. They're in a pretty good spot. They're in a sweet spot, and I'm really, really proud of that.
Let's get a mic back to Alex at DC News Now.
Coach, you were kind of touching on this a little bit, but you talked about, building programs, and just now talking about building Providence. A year ago, you were getting ready to take them to the tournament, for however many times you did it. Now you're standing here a year later, getting swept by Providence this year, looking at them on the other side. Did you have a moment tonight maybe thinking about, man, I can't wait till I build this program up to that point?
The day I stepped on this campus, I had that thought, right? That's an everyday thought. And that conversation of possibility is something that I'm going to continue to preach until we get back to the mountaintop. And it won't be easy. It won't be. We play an incredible conference. There's great coaches in the league. I love our young, upcoming coaches in the league. Our league is healthy. This is the pain of growth. This is the pain of change and the pain of transition, right? But we'll be okay. It's not my first rodeo. We're going to be more than okay here at Georgetown.
And another one for you, obviously, the Big East tournament, very close coming up. This is a program that has made a out-of-nowhere miracle run in it before. Is that something you bring up to your guys kind of as you get closer to that?
Absolutely. Tournament play is crazy. Crazy things happen in tournament play. Crazy things happen. So, you got to take one game at a time. And there's no greater tournament in any sport in America than that Big East tournament. For those of you that have been fortunate to go and feel it, the vibe in there, the energy in there, it's not even close. Played in other tournaments, it's not even close to what the best tournament in the world is. And it's a pleasure to be part of it. Not only that, it's an honor to be the head coach at Georgetown, to represent Georgetown in that tournament. Anything's possible. Is it some long odds? Hell yeah, it is. But you never know. Stay positive.
Thank you.
I appreciate all y'all this year. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the ride and die guys. Thank you. I really do. I do.
The Northeast 10.
The Northeast 10? Hey, I got a scholarship, dog. So hell yeah, that shit right there.